Good morning. Welcome to the final Carla Marie and Anthony show of all time.
What?
Well, Carla Marie, I don't know if you know this, but you, my friend, are sitting next to one of the highest, most sought-after fashion models in the world.
I was like, what is everyone saying in the chat? Let me see this.
So-
I can't really see it.
Well, I'll put it up on the screen for you over here. So, this is my new career. This is my new life.
I love that we both chose to wear bright colors today in
Well,
the middle of December.
listen. When
What is
you
this?
work in high fashion like me, you oftentimes become, I don't want to call it a role model because I don't want that kind of responsibility, but you become a trendsetter, you know? And you probably saw that I was going to be wearing bright colors and you were like, oh my God, if you're going to look so fashionable in those bright colors, then I would want to do that too. And I get it. I would want to be me too, if I were you, especially.
What are you doing in this photo?
What do you mean? I am fashioning. What do you mean? What am I doing? I mean, look at that.
You had the people freaking out
Why?
because you said it was the last show.
I mean, would you come to work with a regular person if you looked like that all the time?
I got modeling photos too.
So what I'm doing in that picture, just for people who don't understand, fashion, is I'm showing that these are stretchy shirts.
Oh, aren't all shirts stretchy?
Well, they're very stretchy. They're meant to like stretch and move. Like you can
So
wear it when you warm up.
What was this shoot even for?
This shoot was for the Roosevelts, and this line is dropping today, which is why I think today has to be my last day.
Is that sure? Because on Sunday, Steve said he wasn't sure.
Well, no, it's today because they posted about it on
Oh.
Instagram. Yeah. So what I'm showing off, bless you. Regular people get sick. But anyway, what I was showing off was that you can use these shirts for a variety of reasons. Maybe some warm-ups. Maybe you're a little chilly during yoga. This will stretch with you. What you doing over there, Carla?
There are some awesome responses in the chat.
Oh, well.
Erica said it's giving uncle who just started his modeling career.
Excuse me. Just started? I've been at the modeling game since I was 16 years old. Okay? Back when I was doing anti-smoking campaigns for Philip Morris, which was weird because they make cigarettes. But that's how I got my start.
Bihar said we need a side-by-side of this and an Arizona sweet tea bottle.
I mean, this is good.
Excuse me.
I know. I need to. Carla Marie,
Sir,
give me a second. For a
I'm
second.
reading the chat.
I know, but I'm moving this over here so that you can read the chat and I can still do things here.
Are there more photos?
Are there more photos? She says. Are there
So not
more
end.
photos? I mean, this is another one.
What is it with the ripping?
It's not ripping. It's stretching.
I like that color.
It's a good color.
You're showing your underwear.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring this one up here. Normally I wouldn't get so risque in a photo shoot. That's specifically for my OnlyFans account. But I decided to show a little bit of the undies,
Like, how hard are you flexing?
Well, I couldn't flex that hard. I'd rip the shirt. I mean, it's stretchy, but only to a certain extent,
Mm.
Now, if you could give me the mouse.
What? Finish doing what I was doing.
There
I
we
pinned
go.
a message.
Okay. You can go back to pinning. So this is an action shot, as we call in the biz. Okay. And the reason this was actually a difficult shot for me was because I had to pretend like that was a lot of weight. It was like 35 pounds or
Why
so,
wouldn't
maybe
you
30.
actually use a lot of weight?
They didn't have enough for me in the gym. It was like a normal person gym, Actually, I will say,
I was there. It was not normal.
full honesty, there was a man in that gym
I saw him.
in Hoboken. He was probably in his 40s. And this guy was a mound of muscles.
He was. And
He looked like a professional wrestler.
He was doing kettlebell swings with like 800 pounds. And I had Michael, my little nephew, there, and he was like going, ball, because it looks like a ball. But this guy truly was like just tossing it around like it was nothing.
I mean, he had muscles on top of muscles. I don't think the Roosevelts make a big enough shirt for that man.
No.
But anyway, back
Fred
to
the
me.
Mailman. Tones finally did a boudoir shoot.
I did. Got to show the undies for the peeps, you know? So,
Oh, there's more.
there. I mean, I just picked some of my faves,
Okay,
but
this is a good one.
there's
This
way
is
more.
normal.
So,
Your muscles. Look, you like a little action figure.
well, no, after talking about that guy, I do not. That guy looked like an action figure. That guy looked like a He-Man.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted to sneak a picture just to talk about how big this guy was. But back to, the important things in life, like my modeling career. So this is what we call a lifestyle shoot. They just wanted me to be in regular pics, hanging out like a normie. And then what else do we have here? Oh, I got it. This is another one.
Sarah from Fort Lauderdale said, "Yeah, you actually look like a nice guy in this one."
Well, that's called acting.
Are you doing this? Squeezing your muscles?
I'm just kind of like,
Nah, you're squeezing your
hanging out
muscles. You're squeezing your muscles.
I'm really not. I did. So
Did they post these on Instagram?
they posted one, but not of my face yet.
I want to see what people
That
say.
was yesterday. That was what they call the tease in the biz. Because they wanted people to be like, oh my God, is that the famous model? Or is it just a normal guy with a beard? We don't know. We won't know until they drop this line tomorrow.
I don't think that's what they were teasing.
That's what they were doing, yeah.
Oh, look at you. Oh, God.
Yeah. That's my second favorite pose, called the stretch. But I do have to show. Oh, did I put it in here? Now this was acting. I'm going to show you the next two acting pictures, Carla Marie.
Someone said, "Why is Messi announcing Roosevelt's?"
Yeah.
You look like him?
No, but he has a beard. So I'm actually much taller than Messi. I think Messi is like 5'7". But anyway, did I name these? I did not name the shirts, mainly because I didn't want to get involved in marketing and promotions, like a regular person job.
Look at you in your little cup.
Well, this was acting, and I'm going to tell you why this was acting, Carla Marie. They wanted people to think I was drinking coffee.
Mm.
And I wasn't. I was drinking tea, but you would never know by looking at the picture, you know what I mean? You would think that was a legitimate cup of coffee. But it's not. So, is modeling my ceiling? Probably not.
What?
I think being an actor is probably my ceiling.
Oh my God.
Maybe an Oscar. Maybe an Emmy. Maybe a Tony. I don't know.
Tony for Tones?
Yeah. Seems fitting.
Anthony looks like Zico Zaki in this one from the FBI TV show.
I don't know.
Oh,
who's
is that the guy that everyone says you look like?
I have no idea.
Tones is more messy than messy. Get it?
There is one picture that I forgot to put in here. And
All right, I won't look. I'm getting the Roosevelt's link so that if anyone decides to buy these after your lovely modeling, we can at least get
I mean, there's no choice but to buy them after my modeling.
we could at
You know
least
what I
get
mean?
a little kickback here.
Oh no. Oh yeah, and because I'm a big time model, they did give me a promo code. And I'm a big enough model where they even threw in my sidekick in the promo code.
Fuck.
So it's code CMA, but you have to hit a specific link.
That's actually not the code, but
CMA, what is it? Assistant. Tell the people.
it's CMA20, but we don't get the credit unless you use our link. So
Yeah.
coming soon. It should be popping up in there if we're talking about it. But.
Now, back to the regularly scheduled program, because I do have to find the picture of my signature pose.
That?
What?
What is that?
It's called a crotch shot?
No, please put that in
No.
there.
Okay, hold on.
Now I gotta
Now you've got a what?
Twitch. There's no worse platform to have to log into than Twitch,
Yeah, there's a lot,
and
but
I think we all can agree on that.
it's mainly because they don't want people to get their accounts hijacked.
And I understand that, but
And this isn't my signature pose. I'll pull up that picture in a little bit. There were so many good photos that I have two separate folders of them.
where do
you
I
know?
get these? Because I need them for things that we do.
Like what?
Like if someone's like, I need a headshot of Worst Anthony for this thing.
Signed?
Oh,
You mean people want signed headshots of me already?
you and Billy Zane sitting at
Yeah.
Comic-Con together. Which, fun fact, he was at Comic-Con signing $80 autographs. And
Good for him.
he's the bad guy from Titanic.
So one of the problems is getting these pictures onto our screen because
Did you
there's
know?
just so much beauty to fit into our frame here.
Did you know that I was featured in Seattle Times?
Like recently?
Yeah.
No, I did not
Just
know that.
want to overshadow you here for a bit.
Yeah, good luck. Seattle Times compared to a modeling shoot. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Seattle Times is an okay publication, but and
I
they
think people did not come here this morning to just watch your photos.
no, they did. So this is the photo that you wanted me to put up there, Carla Marie.
Yeah, what is this?
What do you mean? I was in the I was an action
you were
shot.
Doing,
I was in an action shot.
you were doing this.
That's not even my famous pose. So what I'm going to let you do, Carla Marie, is go through the list here. If you can do that while I pull up my.
Anthony's leaving for new life as a high fashion model. Done.
Yeah, sorry guys.
GMA versus CMA. That would be Good Morning America versus Carla Marie and Anthony. Cheating is illegal in Indonesia, and the best compliment and reminder: our last day of Twitch for the year is next Thursday. We are getting messages about the morning show podcast. By the way, I guess we're making it sound that our last day ever is next Friday.
Oh, well.
We need to make sure we're saying for the year.
Yeah, we'll let everyone know tomorrow in tomorrow's podcast. But yeah, the last Twitch show is going to be on the 15th. The last podcast of the year will be on the 16th, and then we'll be back in the new year. And that's it. Also, the best compliment, Carla Marie, is actually what the woman said to us yesterday when she was picking up the bed frame and the mattress that you were selling. Do you know what it was?
Yes.
What?
You guys are not creepy.
Yeah. She said, thank you so much for not being creeps.
So
There's no better compliment.
I said this the other day on Black Friday. I got an awesome deal for a new king-size mattress and bed frame. So we set that up yesterday because we sold the other mattress and bed frame on Facebook Marketplace. And I was back and forth with this woman all day about figuring out a time. And then I was like messaging her because I was like, just like a heads up. I know I said it in the photo, but there's like a sweat stain from literally the first week I got the mattress before I had a mattress cover on it. And I was like, I tried cleaning it. It actually looks worse. I just want to let you know. And she was like, oh my God, no worries. And I realized you could take that part off. So we were like literally messaging all day long. And I only charged $100 for both things because I truly just wanted it out of here. Whatever.
It's also a used mattress. You can't charge that much, can you?
This woman shows up and she's like, here's the money. Are you sure that's all you want? And I guess
no.
and I was like, what do I say to that? I was like, no, it's totally fine. She drove here from Olympia. Took her an hour and a half, maybe hour 45 to get here. And then we helped her and her son load it in the truck. They were so nice. She was so sweet. When she said thank you for not being creepy, I was like, I mean, same.
Yeah, that's true.
And I told her, I said, a lot of people when they respond on Facebook, they're bots. And I can also tell because it says account created 2022.
Yeah.
And I was like, yours said 2009, so I knew you were legit. And that's just how I sell things on Facebook Marketplace. But she was so sweet. Yeah, that's the end. We're not creepy. Are you putting more photos in here?
Well, there's one that I've got to put in there because we talked about it before I even went out on this shoot and became a big-time model. Everyone was asking me what my signature pose was going to be. And turns out I was right because it is my signature pose.
Can I see the chat before you do that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Ooh, adjustable bed frame. Well, at this point, we're sticking with the king size. We're never going back to any other size. Wherever we move in our future, if it doesn't hold a king size bed, we don't move there.
There's adjustable bed. I guess, yeah, it would like not stretch, but it can expand and stuff. Right.
Melissa, we're going to get to your comment in a bit. Don't worry, guys.
What are we not worried about?
Everyone's very irate about Good Morning America. There was something I was going to look up. But anyway, our bed is fluffing, if you will, at the moment. So we had to sleep on the couch together last night. Luckily, it's long enough. My back is killing me. And it said 72 hours, right?
72 hours you're supposed to allow the memory foam mattress to expand.
And then did it say another 12 for... It said 72 hours, and if you got memory foam...
Isn't the whole bed memory foam?
I don't know.
Or is there a memory foam topper?
I think there's a thing included. So like, that's Friday.
I want
We should have did
everyone
this before we left.
to understand when I said that my famous pose was going to be the thinker, I delivered. And that's what it looks like.
Oh God, that's a good photo of you, but I hate the.
You hate the what?
Oh, sorry, it's so boring.
All right, moving on. Did we hit hype train level 5?
I sure hell hope not, because what is anyone sending us things for?
What?
What just happened?
What do you mean just happened?
We're
Everyone,
gonna do a breakdown of all my photos next time.
imagine if back in the day Amber Heard did something like this.
I mean, who?
or
Me or
or
you?
Tyson Bedford.
Amber Heard. Why would you compare yourself to her?
I don't know. Wasn't she a model at some point? Or Keira Knightley?
Amber Heard was pooping on beds. Don't start doing that.
When you're as beautiful as we are, you can do whatever you want, and people let you get away with it.
She looks like a crackhead.
She what?
Looks a bit like a crackhead.
I don't think she's still very pretty.
I mean, I guess.
Let's see.
I'm just reading the comments. Someone on the Roosevelt's website said, "Are they durable enough for a railroader?" Does this person actually work for the railroad?
This hoodie, it is durable enough.
Yeah, but I feel like you can't wear that while working on the railroad.
Well, they have a gray one and a blue one. No, you probably want bright colors.
So you
So
don't get
people
hit
see
by
it.
a train. They're
Although-
not stopping.
Yeah, even if the train sees you, they're not stopping. Let's see. Lisa said, "I believe we did hit the hype train." All right, Carla Marie, pour them up.
There was
Explain.
something I was going to look on my phone for.
Well, let's do the shot, and then when you remember it, we can worry about that then. I'm just gonna wait here and watch you type things.
Do you remember what this week's shot is called?
The snowball,
He sure is.
and it has 3 things:
You definitely remember the one I couldn't say.
schnapps. No, what was it? I actually don't remember the ingredients. What was it?
Creme.
Creme de cacao. Creme de cacao,
Yes.
as Carla Marie said.
And brandy.
Brandy is the one I forgot. Well, I forgot all of them.
And there's one more. Peppermint schnapps.
Peppermint schnapps. That's the flavor that I was thinking of that I actually did remember in my brain, but I couldn't think of what it was called. And
So,
by the
is-
way, this sweatshirt line, the hoodie line, does release today. I think 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock on the West Coast. And if you want the link, message me or Carla Marie directly on Instagram. I'm at Worst Anthony.
Yeah, actually, at 1 o'clock, when it launches, we can make a link to that exact.
And Carla
Right.
Marie is the Carla Marie on Instagram. And we can send you the exact link that would actually give us credit. You'll still get the discount if you use our code, but then they don't know that it came directly from us, which seems a little backwards.
But as a model, did you work in your contract to get a percentage of all sales?
Forever, yeah.
Oh.
Everything they sell from here on out.
And we can retire.
It was a lot of fun, and it was a last-second shoot that we got to do.
Not me.
I wasn't including. I mean, me, my photographer,
We had Pilk yesterday.
my director. You know, those people. That's the we that I talk about now, since this is my last day on the show. And they were awesome. They did a phenomenal job, clearly making me not look like a big dumb idiot in most of the pictures. Some I purposely looked like a big dumb idiot.
Damn.
What?
I grabbed the.
You grabbed the poop cup? It's okay.
Yeah, don't put these in the dishwasher.
All right. Cheers to everyone who supported the stream this morning. Thank you. Cheers to you, Carla Marie. And cheers to our friends at Seattle Cocktail Club. You good? I love seeing all the shot glasses bounce up and down on the screen. All right, back to the main screen here.
Ooh.
Whoa,
I'm here. It's like I got possessed.
that was a little weird.
For a quick-
Unfortunately, we were transitioning when you made the crazy
No,
face.
fortunately.
So explain this. What are you doing? Oh, the
I
chat.
think I still have a message pinned. Yeah. Let's just. Oh,
You just go goblin mode there.
no, goblin mode isn't actually sounding like a goblin.
Well, You sounded like a goblin there.
This message, which I can't read because the camera's in the way, said, I flew from Detroit yesterday and my You Look Great crew neck, and the
Yes.
TSA agent sent it back. That was
Char from Tampa. Love to see
Amazing.
it.
Unpin this message.
And what else we got?
Can you make it that size?
It's not so easy doing this stuff while you're trying to talk, is it?
Okay.
There was also a comment here, but you know what? There was a ton, so I don't think I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Julie brings up a good point. I did not sign a contract because that would involve paperwork, and I don't do paperwork. And I think my next hire for my team will be an assistant, and then or maybe like a lawyer. They probably should handle mine.
You have a lawyer.
Yeah, but I got to like bring my lawyer around on all my shoots.
Is
that what people do?
We need a project manager here at the Carlin and Anthony Show.
Well, I thought that was your job. I'm like the production person, right, and the editor, and then you're the project manager. Basically, any job we have in this company has to be held by one of the two of us.
You don't listen to me.
What am I supposed to listen to? You're supposed to manage a project.
Yeah, I'm supposed to tell you what to do on the project, but you don't listen.
Let's see. Sarah from Fort Lauderdale said we aren't coming to shoots, so lawyers won't.
She said lawyers just review in advance.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna get to that. Okay, so I guess maybe I don't have to bring my lawyer everywhere with me. But once I get to like a certain level, I'm gonna have to, because it's gonna be like, bam, no lawsuits, bam, no lawsuits, bam, leave me alone, bam, leave me alone.
Okay. Jen is a project manager.
Okay.
She said she can put together a mean worksheet for the project. No, I need someone that's going to physically be like, but did you do this part yet? Because it won't get done.
All right. I need you to explain, and we're going to move on from me being a high fashion model, because I feel like it's taken over the show, and I don't want you to be outshined here, Carla Marie.
Okay.
But GMA versus CMA. A lot of people have been tagging me and sending me this Good Morning America story. I don't think I've ever watched more than 5 minutes of that show or any of its
It's not even
other
the main
shows.
part of Good Morning America.
Yeah, don't they have like 3 versions of
it's GMA 3, so it's the third hour, which probably means it starts at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And the hosts are Amy Robach and TJ Holmes.
Okay.
They were in committed relationships with other people since 2010. They've each been married.
Okay.
And I guess they separated from their partners in August because the two of them had started a romance.
Oh, so they left their partners specifically for each other?
That's what I'm seeing now. So the Daily News last week released photos of them holding hands and kissing and being like, they're married, blah, blah, blah. But they came out and they were like, someone came out like they've actually been separated from their partners since August. So these photos that you're seeing have been since the separation. And the backstory is they were like, we weren't going to talk about our own relationship publicly until the divorces were finalized.
Okay.
So that's the backstory of that. Did they cheat on their partners? Most likely.
We don't have confirmation of that.
No. Well, I think it said the romance has been happening for a bit.
Why are you doing the Trump fingers? You're like, me.
It's the only way to talk about this. So
For a little bit, maybe a lot of bit.
It's been happening behind the scenes. They decide to separate from their partners in August. Daily Mail puts them on blast, as the Daily Mail does.
Okay.
So last Friday, they go on the air to do their show. This is like after days of chaos happening,
This all happened last week?
Yes.
Okay.
And TJ says something like, man, what a week. It's been so much fun. I'm so sad it's Friday. And she says something like, yeah, speak for yourself. Thank God it's the weekend. Like, clearly referencing the week that the two of them just had.
Yeah, they're going through it.
Yesterday, they were not on the show.
Monday. Oh, wow.
So now everyone's like, oh my God, they were fired just because of having a romance. And I started reading into it. I was like, what were they? Like, what happened? They've just been taken off the air because the president of NBC was like, there's basically too much hubbub going around. You guys are too much of a distraction. And I'm like, silencing
A distraction to who is my question.
So I don't know if the president it's an internal and external distraction. So one of the things the president actually said was, I want no more whispering in the halls about this. Like, no more.
But that's not their fault.
Right. But this is how she's nipping it in the bud. And I guess I don't like she wasn't quoted in saying this, but on the Yahoo article, they're quoting someone. I don't think it was the president. It's too sexy of a distraction. This is Good Morning America, ABC. You have to keep that in mind. ABC wants nothing to do with a possible cheating,
Is
adultery.
it The Bachelor on ABC?
Yeah.
Shut up. Not you. The
I was
president.
like,
The president.
yeah.
You've got people doing each other in hot tubs on ABC.
Yeah, but that's expected and that's late night. This is Good Morning America.
Late night, it's prime time.
This is the wholesome family show.
Well, here's the thing. And this is why executives are stupid. And if you're an executive, I apologize, but you're stupid.
You're stupid.
This is the only time in my entire life that I can remember anyone talking about GMA 3. GTA 3, maybe. Grand Theft Auto. People talked about that a lot back
There's
in
a
the
lot of
early
people
2000s.
Saying, A, well, there's a ratings killer pulling them off.
Yeah.
And B, I didn't even know Good Morning America had a third hour.
I didn't even, and I'm not trying to insult them. That's just not my thing to watch. I didn't know these people existed until like Thursday.
Actually, GMA 3, what time would they go on? 8 a.m.?
I have I don't know what their schedule is. And again, I'm not trying to say that to be like funny or disrespectful.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in my universe until this. And now you're going to take them off. Now, if I was the executive, the only reason I would take them off is to create more of a story. And then be like, listen, guys, the people know. Go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, but if this was us.
Enjoy.
Like, think about if this were us, right? If cheating aside, because we did not do that.
No.
I could see our former boss being like, "Oh, you're gonna go in the air and you're gonna tease people and you're gonna do a contest about your romance."
Well, and this is what I said. If you're an executive, you're stupid. I'm sorry. We had a group of the stupidest executives like that have ever been assembled. It was if you took idiots and made them the Avengers, that's what our group of executives was like.
You're gonna do a contest and whoever wins gets to marry one of you.
You know how in most of like the Marvel movies, the main character does like one little thing that could set everything on a course to disaster, but then fixes it.
Yeah.
Our group of executives was like the Avengers, but never fixing that course. They just kept going towards disaster. And that was while we were there. I'm not even saying after they got rid of us.
Okay, so apparently Good Morning America 3 saw a 20% jump in ratings from 2 weeks before the scandal broke to the day after it did.
Yeah.
So the person writing this Yahoo article said, "So did I speak too soon about how we all champion the co-host romance? Alas, I did." So people were, I guess, seeing their romance for months, like just their chemistry.
Yeah.
Which happened to us as well. Being like, "Oh my God, I want them to be together." Like, and here's the thing with America. You'll see two people like that and be like, "I don't care about their partners. I just want them to get together because I love them together so much." And then they leave their partners like, "Oh, what an asshole. You left your partner." Like, this is what we do.
You know, but this is where they could have really like turned this into a thing and made these people, I don't know, household names, more house. I don't know if most households know them. It just doesn't make sense to me. They'd be like, "Oh, you're getting all this attention on a show that people mostly don't even know exists, and now we're gonna pull you up." And who do they put on it? Even less,
two other people that I never
even
heard
lesser
of.
known people.
After romance disclosure, I can't. Like, this is what's so funny.
Have they admitted, either of them, that they're actually in a relationship?
I don't think so. They both disabled their Instagram accounts. Idiots. That was our
Again,
highest traffic time.
Another dumb thing to do.
They should have consulted ABC. You know what we should do? Because these networks need this. Because they have this all the time. Because whenever you work with a co-host, there is chemistry, whether romance or not. Like there was a while, obviously, in our time where we had chemistry, but we weren't romantically involved.
Oh, of course,
and chemistry is what these people chase. Like, this is what executives want. Like, even, I don't know, I was going to say Matt Lauer, probably should not use him. Like,
Probably a bad
Elvis,
example,
like,
because he was
for
just
example,
slinging his ween.
Elvis and Danielle have chemistry.
Of course.
That doesn't mean...
Danielle and Gandhi have chemistry.
Exactly. But I'll never forget Elvis pulling the two of us aside when we were doing My Day Friday one day, and he was like, "You two have chemistry. Like, this is, it's different than anything I've ever seen, blah, blah, whatever." Foreshadowing, maybe, I don't know.
Let's see. Someone said Blake has stayed on. Is there a third part of that show named Blake?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. Maybe it's this trust
I
us
also
out
saw
kid.
in the chat someone said to open up the phone lines. They are open now. And that number is 201-305-0894.
But we should be a consultant for secret relationships. So basically, if you have a secret relationship, you have to report it to some secret person at your company, and that secret person hires us, and we come in and we teach you
How to handle it?
How to handle it.
I would rather have I would rather have a business, and this is the tagline of the business. Do you have an idiot executive? Hire us, and we'll tell you how to deal with them.
They're talking about
Or
the
maybe,
voice.
are you an idiot executive? Hire us.
Admission is the first step.
Oh, gee, what's going on? Oh,
You have to lower us in the background.
there we
Hi.
go. Augustine, how's it going? Good, except I was figuring out if I should take this call or not. I was debating it a little bit because you are calling from the Netherlands, and
Wait, pause. They can't hear him.
they can't hear. Hold on, Audrey. There we go,
Yeah, I can
Augustine.
see
There we
the-
go.
I can
So-
see the chat. I can see the chat.
For people
Yeah.
who don't know Augustine is calling from the Netherlands. It's after his workday there, and
Yeah.
I was debating whether or not I should pick up this call, considering you are from the Netherlands and you guys were
Yeah.
not very nice
No.
to our American soccer team.
Oh, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry
But,
about that.
what are you calling
Yeah.
for in regards to this GMA versus CMA nonsense?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, everyone in the chat is 100% correct. Like, I work with executives because I do a lot of work for my CEO, and I mean, we just got like feedback from staff like this week, and it's so clear that executives don't know what people are doing on the day to day. So I think this is such a missed opportunity because I feel like the amount of couples who would have felt comfortable coming off on air and say, hey, we've been dating as well and we still keep it professional, that's a missed opportunity. Again, like you guys said, ratings are going through the roof and now they're becoming relevant. You're leaving so much opportunity there. So I think it's just a really missed opportunity. So I agree with you. Executives are stupid.
Well, yeah, I just hope your executives don't watch this show by any chance.
I don't think they do.
But
I don't think they do.
what do you do for work, Augustine?
Yeah, so I do internal communication. So a lot of my work is like, preparing stuff for my CEO to get it out there. I'm going to start doing a lot more work with the other executives. But yeah, I just try to make staff members happy. That's my job in a nutshell.
So let me ask you this: at your company, is there some sort of contractual obligation to not have inter-office relationships?
Yeah, for
Really?
sure.
That's crazy.
So how do they monitor that, and how do they discipline people?
I mean, I'm very, very new to the company, so
Okay.
again, I still need to get into the weeds of that. But I'm assuming you'll probably have to sign a form, to protect you and the person as well, because I think that's pretty standard in a lot of companies as well. And again, it really, if you really want to date someone, you just keep it low key, and if you don't want it to get out there, don't get it out there because people gossip. Like,
Yeah,
if there's
that's
one
true.
thing I learned this week. Like, we've been talking about things in my team at the executive level, about where we want to see the company go forward. And like one thing just ended up, I heard it from someone who even had no access to that info. And I was like, how did you even hear about that? Like, that's been so secret between the communications team and the executive team. Like, how could you have heard about that? So
Yeah, people
keep
talk.
your relationship low key. People talk. People really talk. So, yeah.
Well, Augustine, thank you very much for hitting us up. We appreciate you making us part of your
Appreciate it.
evening, even though it is
Yeah.
here in the morning here in America.
Yeah. And congrats on the 200 episodes, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I listened really on it. Oh, see, here's a funny story. I never caught up with the My Day Friday podcast, but I have been listening to each morning show podcast
That's
every
awesome.
morning. So
Thank you. You must be the percentage that we see. So Anthony and I on our end can do our own version of like Spotify Wrapped. So you must be the percentage of international listeners that we see.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
We do.
Hell
I was
yeah.
looking.
That's all of me.
That's
I was
you.
looking at some of the stats the other day, and we have like the Netherlands, we have Saudi Arabia, we have like
Yep.
all these random countries that pop up with just like
Yep.
3
Yep.
or 4 listeners.
Can we get your family in Lebanon to listen, please?
We probably could.
Yeah, you
Okay.
should.
All right, Audrey,
Yeah.
we're gonna let you
Yeah.
go. You look
All right.
great.
Thank you. You look great.
You look great, guys.
He's
So-
the best.
You know, it's interesting how, and I do think in corporate America, Augustine was right. He said in most corporations, there's some sort of rule that you're not supposed to date within the company. But I think people also forget that in regular America, when people have small businesses, you're normally hiring your family. There's usually husbands, wives, couples in general are opening businesses together.
Well,
so it's really not that rare for people to work together in that capacity.
A lot of those rules are set in place, and I'm okay with this, to fight nepotism, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly
my
it.
parents met while working, obviously got married, had a whole family. So basically, it's crazy. My dad was my mom's boss for the longest time. And by longest time, I mean 30-something years.
That is a long time for one boss.
When a new regime came, and mind you, like there were times my mom was like, I can't believe I got to work this shift. Like, yeah, I'm sure my dad finagled things knowing we had family stuff or whatever, just knowing her schedule. But there were things that she had to do that she didn't love doing.
Yeah.
A new regime came in and bought out the Meadowlands racetrack where my parents had worked forever. I was in my late 20s at this point. And they basically said that my dad couldn't be my mom's boss anymore. And they were like, but we have been doing this for 30-something years. Like, seriously.
That is a little ridiculous.
And they put my dad at a new location. They opened up an off-track betting, meaning like it was just a center for betting.
Where was
in
that?
Bayonne, New Jersey.
Huh.
Without an actual racetrack for horses.
Oh, I know where that is, actually.
And they were like, well, to my dad, we want you to launch this new place. Anyway, you have the experience. We want you to launch this. I remember my mom being so devastated. And I was like, Mom, get over it. Like, and
your
now,
mom also doesn't like change.
No.
Not either of your parents do.
No, but looking back now, I get it. Like, if you're working with your partner in the same, I was like, you see him every day. But if you're working with them, like, it would have been obviously different because we have a show together.
Yeah.
But if we were dating or married and we worked together in the same place for 30 years, then you just had to go to a different place. I'd be sad.
Yeah.
You'd be sad.
I
Don't be
know.
a dick.
No, I maybe. It's hard. It's hard for me to put myself in those shoes.
But they put my dad there for a few months and then said, sorry, we're going to let you go. And he was like, I knew they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Because they needed me to, they wanted to let me go, but they needed me to launch the new place. And
They got what they wanted.
And that was like, he was kind of forced to retire, which is kind of good also because he needed to and probably wasn't going to on his own. But I have the full quote from the president of NBC.
All right, let's hear it.
ABC, sorry. ABC. So it's Kim Godwin announced to staffers Monday morning and said, I'm going to talk about something that has become an internal and an external distraction. The relationship between two of our colleagues. Also, don't even say their name. Like, between two of our colleagues. And so I want to say that while that relationship is not a violation of company policy, I have really taken the last few days to think about and work through what I think is best for the ABC News organization. And so for now, I'm going to take Amy and TJ off the air while we figure this out. She also asked staff to stop whispering in the hallways about the matter.
Yeah, that always stops it.
Yeah, okay.
Hey guys, stop gossiping. Okay.
So now there's like 87 group texts.
Yeah.
All I also keep thinking about is The Office, where Michael Scott, like there's some paperwork they make them sign in the office if you're gonna have a interpersonal or inter-office personal relationship, and he has to sign this, and he makes Jan sign it, and then like Jim and Pam have to sign it, but Toby doesn't want to sign off on it because he loves Pam.
Yeah.
And it's just like that doesn't really exist even in a place like this. They don't care.
Here's the interesting thing about that quote. What's this person, the CEO's name?
The
president, Kim. Where's the quote? There we go. When Kim says, I'm going to talk about something that has become an internal and external distraction. Everyone was distracted from Good Morning America 3 to begin with because no one knew it existed. Every other thing in the world was bigger than Good Morning America 3. You finally have people paying attention
Do you
to your
think-
show. It is not a distraction.
I have an idea. Fire them and hire us.
I don't think that solves their problem.
Well, they don't care that they're dating.
And that's the other part. It's not a violation of your company policy. You said that in the statement. So what is the issue other than people just needing to be involved in things they don't need to be involved in?
I wonder if the morning show on Apple TV Plus will add this to their storyline for next season.
Probably. Is now Good Morning America 3. Does anyone in the chat watch it? Have you seen it? Do you know what it's all about? Let me know.
I need to start watching it.
Because my question, I would understand that this was like a real hard news. Actually, I don't even know if that's the case. If it was like real hard news
Like
and you
if
wanted
Anderson
to.
Cooper and Don Lemon started dating?
Yeah.
I would ship that forever.
Never heard of it before now. Okay, I've watched. Perfect. So is this very much like Good Morning America where they kind of talk about some news stories, but it's a lot of like fluff pieces like, oh my God, you're never going to believe this dog that delivers the paper to this elderly neighbor every day.
It's the same thing, just a different hour with different hosts because those hosts can't do 4-hour talk shows.
Lame. Half that stuff is pre-recorded anyway, isn't it?
No, that's live.
No,
Live.
like there's the packages that they go to where it's like, oh, we got to hang out with Tom Cruise on the set of Top Gun 2.
Yeah, but
Here's what Amy did.
they don't. I feel like they don't do too much of that.
Yeah, okay, it's very,
Very
fluffy.
fluffy.
So if that's the case, if these are all fluff pieces and it's more laid back and fun, and that people need that in their lives, why does it matter what these people do?
Yeah, this president
In
made
their
a
personal
stupid
lives.
decision.
Why does it matter?
You know, it's interesting to say even if you're a female executive, you make stupid decisions.
Oh yeah. My opinion on executives it sees no color, it sees no gender, it sees no age. When you get into that position, you just become a big dummy.
Yep.
Maybe for the first year, you're like, oh, I'm going to be a good executive. And then you just
For the people.
you start going on these golf outings with the other idiot executives, and that's it.
Okay, so Fred the Mailman said, I had a post officer. I'm going to start over again.
Postmaster.
I had a postmaster having an affair with a carrier. He promoted her to a supervisor position and shit hit the fan. Post office relocated both of them. That makes sense. I agree.
Yeah. And I do find it interesting, and I guess they had a very specific thing they needed your dad to do when they relocated your dad. But it's interesting that they relocated the supervisor, not the person under the supervisor.
That's why they did it, because
Yeah.
they needed him. Oh, there's more scandal. According to page 6, TJ Holmes allegedly cheated with several women at ABC. Now, I'm not here for it. I don't ship this.
But he was most likely, or probably cheating before that.
Several means you have a problem.
Maybe it just means why is cheating?
Because there's one thing if it's a romance, right? And you actually care about this person.
Oh, so you're cheating for love?
There's
outta
another thing
here.
if you're just banging random people that you work with, because that's stupid. That's irresponsible. You did it. That's irresponsible.
What are you going to do? He cheated with a producer before Amy. Supposedly he slept with a producer, says Mellow FM.
He had
Yeah,
a 3-year affair with the producer.
You either like that he cheated or you don't. You can't say I like that he cheated because he ended up with a person that I wanted him to be with.
No, it's not a matter of ending up with the person. It's a matter of you're a serial cheater, not just
If you cheat
I'm
more,
leaving a relationship.
But-
Because
if you're cheating more than one time, you are a serial cheater, whether it's with more than one person or the same person.
this truly is like the morning show on Apple. It would be like Jennifer Aniston's character marrying Steve Carell's character because she sees all the drama he caused.
Let's see. Jolly Russian Buddhist said, am I the only one who sticks to the don't dip your pen in the company ink? No, there's a lot of people who do. There's a lot of people who will dip their pen in whatever ink they want.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who will let people dip their ink in or dip their pen in their ink.
I'm a
Whether it's
product.
company or not.
I'm a product of dipping your pen in the company ink.
Oh, yeah, because of your parents.
Yeah.
And I mean, my dad had a jewelry store. My mom worked
Like how
right alongside my dad. I mean, if it wasn't for my mom, my dad's business would not be where it is.
And that's like what you were saying earlier is that most small businesses
Yeah.
are family owned and operated.
And I also think it makes relationships easier when you understand what the person does for a living. Now, that's not always the case, but even in my brother's case, they're both lawyers. They both understand what the other person's workload is. When sometimes when work calls, they will have to take, personal or take away from personal time. And I think it makes life easier. I mean, in radio specifically.
Radio is so hard.
Radio, there are 1, 2, 3, at least 4 marriages that I can think of 5 marriages that I can think of off the top of my head that started because they met in radio.
But it's so hard to date someone who is on air, specifically a morning show.
Yeah, but here in Seattle, we have our friends Maddie and Kara. They're getting married in a year or so. Then the marketing president, I don't know what is, the market president now and the director of promotions are married with a kid. My friends Sarah and Carmelo got married in New York. Let's see, my friends Robbie and Nicole got married. Then there's another one I'm thinking of.
But those are they just had office and promo jobs. Like, they're not on air.
That's fair. But they're still.
But they're office.
They worked very closely with one another.
And a lot
all
of
those.
What happens in radio is you work weird hours.
Yep. And then Liz and David.
Yes, you work weird hours, weird events. You travel together, whether you're on air or not. You experience things together. You're at concerts. You're working late nights, stuff like that, and you kind of just fall into relationships. It happens a lot in radio. And then don't even get me started about the on-air part of it. There are so many people in radio that have banged their co-host, not even had a relationship, and you'll never hear about it. And it's wild.
Listen, do what you want. Do what you want.
Yeah, it's real.
Let's see. Shan Benu said, why do we care? It is his personal life. ABC is in the wrong.
True.
I agree.
But why do we care? You can't, when you're in the public eye, this is what we talk about all the time, you don't get to have a personal life.
Yeah.
To an extent, what you keep personal will stay personal. But if you're going to do something like have sex with multiple women that you work with and cheat, be ready that that's going to come out when you work in the public eye.
Yeah.
That's what.
Jen said it really well. She said, sometimes you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family and friends. So it's not hard to form more of a relationship than just coworkers. Absolutely. I mean, some of my best friends in the world are former coworkers. Amanda_R0. Thank you very much for your subscription with Prime. And don't forget that if you do have an Amazon Prime account, you can use that to subscribe to this channel for free. And you hand over, nothing changes with your Prime account. You don't pay an extra dollar, an extra cent. All you do is take $2.50 of those Bezos bucks and you send them to us.
Yeah.
You reroute it. It takes an exit off the highway.
It's funny you mentioned the thing about friends and working together. When we were at Sam's wedding, I was at the bar talking to Coaster Boy Josh. And he and I were talking about the days where we would all just leave work and go to the bar.
Yeah.
And he was like, we were both like thinking, it was truly like talking about the glory days. Like we were 70 years old and reminiscing. And we were like, we were all in our 20s. He kept saying we're all going through the same thing. Like no one else in the world understood our circumstance, right? We worked morning radio. We, had all of that in common. We were tired. We were ready to party. We would go out. We would get drunk together. He's like, those were the best days. And I was like, absolutely. We were both like almost crying talking about it. And he was like, you know what's crazy? He's like, I'm so happy those days happened, but I'm so sad knowing they won't ever happen like that again. Like we'll never, as much as we say, let's go out together or whatever, we can do that every day. We'll never have those exact moments. That time period again of where it was like every Friday was My Day Friday, or even every Wednesday and Thursday. We'd leave work at like 12, 1, go to the bar, start drinking all day. Like it was such a unique situation. And he and I were like, oh my God, this is crazy. I've never like talked about it like this.
I think a lot of people, once you get to a certain point in your career, you look back at the time when you just got started and you were making all of those friendships and you had less responsibilities, probably way less money. And and you obviously were younger, probably had more energy, things like that. You start looking at those experiences, realizing how great they were and how much you probably didn't appreciate them when you were in them, because you were always trying to get that promotion, get that extra, raise, whatever, find a new job. And then you look back and you think, man, I was really having a good time when I had nothing.
Yeah.
And I was actually, I was talking to my aunts right before Thanksgiving because I was visiting, and we were talking about how my grandparents on my mom's side specifically, they were forced to move from Palestine to Iraq and then into Jordan. Mm-hmm. They kind of moved around the Middle East for a while because when the Israeli army took over parts of Palestine, they forced people out of their homes. And for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, my grandparents and my oldest aunt essentially lived in a shack in the woods.
Crazy.
Like with nothing, like foraged for food. Legitimately had nothing. It was them and I think 3 families. And they all lived in one basically broke down house, abandoned house. And years later, when they were in America, living life
in the
like
hubbub.
Normal humans, my grandfather apparently used to look back at those times.
I bet.
With, obviously he didn't want to get kicked out of his home, but he would look back at those times and go, that was the most free I ever was.
Yeah, listen,
because there were no bills to pay. There was just you, your family, the people that you trusted, and it was calm in a weird way.
There's a scene from next week's episode of Yellowstone when Beth and Rip are in the middle of the woods, and she's like, honestly, I'd live out here forever and never see another person ever again. And I say that to you all the time. I'm like, we could just go live in a small cabin somewhere, do literally we could do this from there. Have no expenses other than the small food we need to eat. We don't need all this stuff. I could just live in the woods.
We don't need all this stuff coming
Except
from the person who orders something from Amazon literally every day.
Yeah, if I'm living this life, I'm living this life. If I'm living in the woods, I ain't ordering from Amazon. I'm going to kill a bunny and I'm eating it. I'll just eat grass.
Speaking of the Good Morning...
we were talking about the good old days.
Yes.
There's a quote from The Office that is so good, and you know exactly what it is. It's Andy Bernard. He says, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. Just assume you're in them. Even if they suck, assume this situation is good for me in some way, and I'm never going to be back here again.
There's something you'll miss, most likely.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going through a rough patch, but there's something you'll miss. There's a connection with someone. There's a simplicity. There's something that you're going to miss. But moving on from the scandal, I guess, that is Good Morning America.
I'm going to tweet Good Morning America and ask them if we could fill in.
Why don't you just ask them if we can be their consultants?
No. Because I think we'd be so good at that. We could work for 1 hour, right? GMA3, it's 1 hour.
We work for 1 hour here.
I know. And they get commercial breaks.
True.
They
and producers and stuff.
Outfits to choose from. We read a teleprompter. We make a ha ha ha. And then we move on.
Oh, look at that dog delivering paper.
Oh, I wish it was a cat.
All right. My brother just asked, do you miss the restaurant days? I think, like I said, there's parts of...
What are the restaurant days?
So my dad owned a restaurant in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and then a fast service version of that in the food court in Jersey City at Newport Mall.
I've eaten there with you.
You did. And yeah, there are things about that I missed. There was a cool team there. There was a bunch of people there that I genuinely cared about. Haven't talked to them since then, so I guess I didn't care that much, but I did. So yeah, there are definitely parts of about that I miss. Now, was it tough because I was doing that and working for Elvis at the same time and needing to manage my own father? Yeah, that was probably the worst part about the whole thing.
I would say I haven't heard the best, not the best stories, the best, I guess you haven't spoken about a lot of that in the best light.
So the problem working for my dad, especially in that restaurant, was my dad had worked for himself at that point for like 30 years.
Oh, so you're saying it would be like someone trying to be our boss now? Not 30
No, because
years.
I wasn't his boss by any means.
Okay.
The problem with working with my dad was that he had worked for himself for so long with only like 1 or 2 people in his jewelry store that I don't think he fully understood the undertaking of hiring a bunch of like high school and early college kids to run a fast service restaurant in a food court. I mean, and the reason that I worked there was because I had managed a staff of about 20 people at the radio station for promotions, oftentimes younger, right? Like interns, people in their like mid 20s or so. So I managed his staff there, but my dad was not really like a systems person. So he would just change up everything every time he showed up.
I feel like
He would change the schedule. Literally, I would send it out and he would change the schedule the next day.
Your dad is the person in a sitcom that you're like, this person can't be real. Like they come into the situation and they like just change the schedule to throw a wrench in that episode. Like that's.
Yeah, it was something. It was definitely something. Although the interesting thing though is my dad's also very successful. Like he's done well in his business.
Right.
He knows jewelry better than like any single human that I've ever met. Oh, yeah, that's a piece from my dad. And the restaurant business was kind of like a side hustle. And he still did well with that too. He was able to sell one of the businesses, ran the other one for 2 years.
Your brother Justin says Hurricane George every day.
Every single day.
I don't know how you guys deal with it.
But going from the scandal of Good Morning America and the fact that I guess, what's the guy's name?
TJ Holmes.
TJ was slanging his ween and cheating left and right. He would not be able to do that without recourse in Indonesia because yesterday, and if you listen to the Morning Show podcast, I went through most of this. They changed their penal code, which is a funny word to say. But they changed a bunch of laws and crimes and how they're treated. And cheating is officially illegal in Indonesia. So cheating on your spouse specifically, if you're just boyfriend and girlfriend or boyfriend and boyfriend, whatever, you're not going to jail for that. But if you are cheating on your spouse and they report you, now three entities can report you: your children, your parents, or your spouse.
But you could just lie.
I guess they'd probably do an investigation then, but like a cop's not going to knock on your door while you're doing it and be like, let me see your marriage license.
Your own parents?
Your own parents can. I'm sure there are a ton of times where parents would have turned in their kids for cheating.
So what happens though? You go to jail?
You could serve up to 1 year in prison for cheating.
And then no ween slang. Well, I guess you could slang your ween.
You could slang your ween in prison, I'd assume. I've heard stories.
So TJ Holmes. It wouldn't even be. We could totally take over GMA3.
Well, here's the other thing: is they changed. They added a 5-year prison sentence and expanded their blasphemy laws. So you cannot speak ill, basically, of their six recognized religions in Indonesia.
Ooh.
You also can spend 3 years in prison if you insult their president, vice president, or state government.
Well, every one of us would be in prison.
Yeah. We would not do well in America. There were a lot of things that they changed or adjusted in their penal code where I was reading. I was like, man, I will poop on this country a lot, but I'm pretty glad I don't live there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Half of our show would be gone.
Why?
We just make fun of people. I'm fine making fun of the government all day, every day, regardless of who's in power.
I'm with you on that.
But what else are we seeing in the chat? What department would that be under? It's a great question.
What, the cheating one?
Any of them. And here's the interesting thing. So when it comes to almost all of those laws that I mentioned, the person being insulted or cheated on is the person that has to make the complaint to the police. So like imagine...
You just said it could be their family.
Yeah. But imagine in the other ones too, in the blasphemy one and the one about the government. So the president or vice president would have to go to the police and say, this person is insulting me. Go arrest them. Imagine being in America, whether you were Donald Trump, Barack Obama, or Joe Biden. The amount of times you would have to
just be like, go look at my Twitter.
Yeah, you would spend all of your time
yeah, but
complaining to the police. That person criticized me. That person criticized me. That person insulted me. That person insulted me. And I guess they went through, and I used criticize first. They went through and had to create very strict guidelines as to what is a criticism, which is allowed, and what is an insult, which is not allowed. So like newspapers technically can still criticize their government.
But you can't be like, he's an idiot for doing that. You can just say, they made this decision that could affect you in blah, blah, blah this way.
Yeah. It's real interesting. But cheating is the one that I understood, like, especially because Indonesia is an Islamic-based country. Like, it is, yeah. Like, they're predominantly Islamic there. And in a lot of those countries, you are not allowed to speak ill of the government or the religion at all.
Okay.
However, it's also the largest democratic country that also happens to be Islamic. So it's not as strict as being in like Qatar or Saudi Arabia or Iraq or anything like that. But it's interesting that they added cheating to that.
So if we went to Indonesia on a trip.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's for visitors as well.
And you cheated on me while we were there. I could get you locked up.
If you made a complaint and then they found out within that trip that it was true, they could throw me. Was it the clink? Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
The clinker?
So
No.
if your husband,
Clink?
if you're so over your husband, you need to lock him up. Take him to Indonesia. Tell him he has a night to do whatever he wants, and then tell them he cheated on.
Yeah, but you can't leave a paper trail. You can't text him and say, go do whatever you want. Because then he could pull up the phone and be like, no, I wasn't cheating.
Yeah.
My wife just tried to entrap me or something. Next thing on the list. Oh, we did best compliment already. Right? So that's it. Show's over. We got to get out of here. And I know that a lot of people have been messaging me, asking me about this. So what I want to do is one last time, I just want to show you how lucky you all are to have me here. And understand that I've taken time out of my life to be here when I could just be taking modeling pictures, you know? So you're welcome, Carla Marie. I think even though I said this was my last show, I think I might keep this as my side hustle, my side piece.
You must be getting the big bucks to do this modeling.
I mean, you don't get these stretchy shirts for free, you know? Although I did get this stretchy shirt for free.
It is very nice.
So I guess I take that back.
Are you going to wear this to LA Fitness in Ballard?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not like right now.
Why not?
I guess I could.
Are you going to work out in it?
I could.
Are you?
This is no, so I wouldn't work out
In sleeves.
in sleeves in general because it would be just disrespectful to all the people around me who schedule their lives around seeing me at the gym without sleeves. You know, like and this is the thing, you don't get it because you're not a big time fashion model, but you got to give the people what they want, Carla Marie. And if the people want the biceps, the people get the biceps. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I know what you mean.
Do you though?
Someone asked for the RSVLTS link again. Oh, before we leave, I'm going to open today's advent calendar.
All right, perfect. And remember, you can use, is it code CMA20? What's our code? Code CMA20. You can use that for 20% off your first order at the Roosevelt's, but we don't get credit or a percentage or anything unless you use this specific code. So anytime you want to buy something from the Roosevelt's, especially if it's your first time, message us. I am at Worst Anthony.
At the Carla Marie.
And we can send you the link and remind you of the code.
We do get messages. It's kind of awesome.
About what?
Wait, I'm not a follower?
Of what? Our own page?
Oh, that's guest star.
Oh. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Santa got me this advent calendar. It's my first day I got a scrunchie. Then I got a lip liner. I used a blush this morning for the first time. I actually like it.
All right, well, let's do this.
So it looks like this inside. Today is the 6th.
You missed the first day.
No, I opened them. I just put them back because I don't
Oh,
want them
okay.
sliding around. Is this the 6th or the 9th?
I bet you it's eyeshadow.
Suck.
Looks like eyeshadow to me. Oh, I love this idea from Fred the Mailman. Tones needs to start a battery daddy dadvent calendar.
Okay,
That's
so,
a good one. Ooh, is it? Am I right?
No. What'd you say?
I said eyeliner.
No, you said eyeshadow.
Eyeshadow.
That's mascara.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Isn't eyeshadow and mascara the same thing? Please don't.
No. We'll take it off.
No.
You have such
Please
nice
don't.
eyelashes.
I don't need that. I don't listen. I didn't get to this point in my modeling career by augmenting my beauty with products. This is all natural. Okay? So please
I know.
keep your devil products away from me.
But you're coming to get Botox with me at some point.
No, all natural, baby.
You said.
All natural.
You want to.
Nope. Oh, I did listen, speaking of all natural, we talked about this a little bit yesterday about how on Joe Rogan's podcast, he had a guest on there. The guest is the host from a podcast called More Plates, More Dates. It's a pretty funny name, but it's a weightlifting.
More weights yesterday.
More plates, more dates.
Yesterday you told me more weights, more dates.
It all rhymes. More plates, more dates.
Like weight plates?
Yes.
Well, that's confusing.
Well, it's really the same thing. But I listened to most of the podcast, and it's hard, man. Those things are 3 hours long.
So long.
But a lot of it was what we talked about with how you present yourself and what you pitch to your followers and whether or not it's genuine or not. And they brought up The Rock. They brought up the main guy that we talked about yesterday that brought this all about was the Liver King.
Yes.
Have you ever seen him?
Yes, I saw photos.
And the Liver King is a guy who said that by these the 9 ancestral tenets that he lives by, you could be like super jacked and like trick your body. He was 40 something, I think late 40s, and just muscle on top of muscle, this guy. And it turns out he was fully on steroids, like a bunch of illegal steroids. And
just lying.
The other person that they brought up, and I completely forgot about this, was Chris Hemsworth as Thor. And what they were saying, listen, if you need to be a superhero, you're going to take steroids because you need a superhero body.
But I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
Chris Hemsworth.
Well, Chris Hemsworth, The Rock, I mean, almost anyone that has to be in one of those suits, especially if you end up shirtless, you've got to be jacked.
But here's the sad thing, like we always talk about women with this, like those men probably feel like they have to do that.
They do. They don't feel like they do have to do that.
No, why can't they just have a normal body?
Because you're portraying a superhero.
Jason Momoa?
I don't know.
Why?
Probably.
Fred said.
Because Jason Momoa was Aquaman. And I would not be surprised. Now, the other thing to think about, Chris Hemsworth, Jason Momoa, The Rock, they're also large men in general. Mm-hmm. They're all over 6'2", I believe. They're big boys.
None of them are American.
The Rock is American.
Well, he's Hawaiian, right?
He's very much American.
But is he Hawaiian?
Oh, his background?
Yeah.
It's Samoan and African American.
Yeah, so not like white.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess Chris Hemsworth, but he's not.
He's Australian.
Yeah, they're bigger there.
What? I don't even know what you're trying to say. They're just bigger guys.
They're bigger than what we normally know. That's what I'm saying.
So they can hold more weight and more muscle than I can. Like they're naturally going to be bigger. But when you look at them and the amount of muscle that they're carrying, it's nearly impossible to do that naturally. And the thing that they got on Chris Hemsworth about was, I forgot he had this like fitness app, and a lot of the ads behind it, and he sold that app for like millions and millions of dollars. A lot of the ads behind it were like, oh, work out like Thor, or work out to look like Thor.
But you are working out like Thor. That is probably his workout. No one's telling you the look part, yes. But
is it his workout?
You could work out like me.
You could. And I guess with the Liver King, they played some of his apology video that he posted. And it was one of these apology videos where, you technically admitted to doing what you did. But he was like, I never expected to have all of these followers, blah, blah, blah. I was doing it for the original message was for all the kids out there.
No.
And it's like, no, you weren't doing it.
No.
And the only thing you're doing for the kids is setting up an example that is impossible to achieve.
Yep.
And it's going to make them feel even worse. And he was like, men in America are more depressed than they've ever been, and they're killing themselves at all-time rates. It's like, yeah, because of people like you.
I think everyone
you're the problem.
Will believe him if he stopped doing all the non-natural stuff, and then we'll see what he looks like.
I think he's done in that world entirely. I think he has to go full on, I love steroids, and this is my personality, and that can be his thing. Because there are people on social media that do that. And they'll tell you exactly what they take. Oh, thank you for the posture check. Appreciate that.
You're still on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Thank God I'm still on that screen.
All right, but
Bam.
what do we have to do to get us on Good Morning America? Because now I've been thinking about it, and now that there's like, I'm not going to replace Kathy Lee,
Didn't she retire?
like 18 years ago.
Okay.
We're not going to replace Hoda, but we could replace TJ and Amy Roback.
For now. But they're so hot right now. You know? They got all the press. I'm hoping that the executive or the president at ABC is just like, we need to figure out how we can capitalize on all of this attention instead of being like, oh, we need to quiet this distraction like a big dummy. But what are you going to do? Carla Marie?
Yep.
It is time that we say goodbye. Thank you to everyone who supported the stream this morning. We will be back on Thursday. And if you have not done so yet, you can listen to today's episode of the Morning Show Podcast, episode 201. Peace out. You look
See you
great.
Thursday. You look great.